guy alone inside. He's got the breakaway with the touch to the right. Goal! Everything you wanted from this debut. It's Brandon By. Taking a shot with the left. Goal! Isaac Frank from 25 yards out. The equalizer. Will Kidd with the touch of the goal. It's a go-ahead goal. Minneapolis City.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club, brought to you by Summit Brewing Company.
Hello, friends, on this snow-filled Minnesota day. This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club. I am John, and alongside me is Olaf the Snowman. I mean, Nate Morales. We've been watching a lot of Frozen with the kids these days. Nate,
we're trapped in the house.
We are. So all you get are movies you've seen 400 times. Through the wonders of the internet, you're joining us from where exactly today, Nate?
Yeah, I'm in beautiful northwestern Arkansas. So I missed the snowstorm, but I understand the hate because I'm gonna have to dig my entire house out when I get home. So that's fucking awesome.
I mean, we got like 10 inches of snow in 4 hours today, so we're wherever you are, it's not as bad as it sucks here.
This is the worst part about living next to like two 90-year-old women. Is that nobody's going to do me any favors while I'm out of town.
Right.
so
wait, so that's the worst part?
Yeah, otherwise they keep to themselves. They're very nice. Last week's show, you guys, it was packed. And this week we might have to spread the net a little farther and wider, but there's still plenty of soccer talk to be had. The season actually started in the NPSL, which is weird to me, and we clearly do not mean in the north because it's we're buried. So we're going to touch on that. There's some weird shit going down in Florida with an NPSL team that is maybe no longer an NPSL team. And we announced a new player this week who's going to be joining us tonight to chat through all things Crow.
Let's get the party started, Nate.
It's started, I'll tell you what. John, wouldn't it be great if we could say that our season has started and we had a game and we already had a game to recap?
I mean, that'd be ideal, right?
Those are my favorite shows. Oh well, yeah. I'll tell you what. If you head west, well across the wasteland, the Western Conference competitions have begun. And I know it sounds crazy when you look outside that soccer is being played here in America, but there are actually states where it doesn't really snow or it doesn't really get too cold to kick the ball around. In fact, it's beautiful all year round, and that's where the league started so early. So I had no idea about this, so maybe I just totally missed that the West Coast Conference plays starting in February.
So you're not crazy yet, Nate. The West Coast Conference started much earlier than ours did this year, actually every year.
Mm-hmm.
But they have so many. We're doing some research to talk about it today. They have so many teams. They have 11 teams to be exact, and they play 20 games. So that's just a lot of soccer. The teams in the West Coast Conference are Orange County FC, FC Golden State, Temecula FC, High Desert Elite FC, FC Arizona, California United Strikers FC, ASC San Diego, AS Los Angeles, City of Angels FC, and the Riverside Coras. And then I forgot one in here, which was the Oxnard Guerreros.
Oxnard Guerreros, yes, the Guerreros.
So the Guerreros became first undefeated team in the country this NPSL season with a 4-2 win over the Riverside Coras.
Congrats.
And then we see FC Orange County joining them atop the table with a 2-1 win in a rivalry match against City of Angels FC 2-1.
Yeah.
So soccer started.
I can't believe it, John. It's crazy. This is the Southwestern Conference of the West region, and the West region is huge because it's mostly all of California. They've got the Golden Gate Conference, they've got the Northwest Conference, which is mostly like Washington, Oregon, and Southwest, which is like LA, San Diego. Obviously, these teams can't have college players, so like this is just your average semi-pro dudes around town kind of teams, right?
You would assume so, seeing that most college guys have a spring season. So I would expect that some of those Western teams have some collegiate or some non-collegiate hired guns.
Yeah.
That I mean, they could be not paid, but if they do plan on having the college boys come back around normal time, they likely aren't paid. But it does seem odd that they played this early.
Yeah, you can do a thing where you pay some players and not other players, right?
As long as you don't have any collegiate players on your roster, because it forfeits their amateur status. So I mean, that's the rule. That's the rule that we know and we stick by. I don't know how others feel about that. If I'm blowing any whistles here, but that's the official rule.
I don't know. Looking at the roster of the Southwest Conference, I don't feel like there's a ton of powerhouses here, or really any powerhouses here.
I mean, Temecula is good. Orange County is decent. Yeah, I mean,
this isn't the place. This isn't the place where it's clear that they're paying talent. Is what I'm getting to.
Right,
but it's probably just local dudes.
But you are closer to Mexico, so there might be some guys that are coming over on short-term travel visas that are playing in this conference.
Yeah, that's true.
But who knows?
Who knows? I think the other thing about this conference is they are home to a few of the best logos I have seen, the best crests that I've seen in a conference. Like when you look at City of Angels Football Club, that like pink and black dog situation is awesome. The High Desert Elite is awesome. And Temecula, just a little goofy little partridge sitting on a tiny soccer ball. He's adorable. Yeah, he's adorable.
He's cute.
But I think the crazy thing is with this league is by the time that they are done with this season, which is at the same time we're done, we'll still have a couple, or close to the same time we were done, we'll still have a couple games left. League-wide, most people end June 29th. And that's a lot of soccer, like February to June. And then the playoffs have to start. Those teams have like, how are they not going to be burned out? Like, are you adding players? Are you switching your rosters out? Like, what does the NPSL allow in order to give teams like the teams in this conference the longevity to compete over what is 7-8 months?
So basically, I mean, I think it'd be more of they have to sit once they're on a heater to wait for the playoffs to happen. I find that to probably be the most difficult piece. But from a rules perspective, you can change your rosters up. You just have to pay more for your players after you've kind of hit your standard roster. So they could be bringing in a whole different team for the second half of their season, but I mean that's a lot of movement, it seems, to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, like, holy shit, how sweet would it be as a fan to be able to go to a soccer game in February?
Yeah, right, exactly. So outside of the season starting, Nate, the most interesting news in the NPSL, well, at least for me, and when I brought it up to you to talk about today, you were like, yeah, that was kind of interesting. It was put out on Twitter today that former Sunshine Conference member Boca Raton FC is taking a break from the NPSL and moving to the UPSL this season. So that's weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in our division, we saw VSLT take a break for the year, but they didn't go and like jump into the UPSL, which we know is a league that's a little bit lower in cost and more affordable. So if this is a financially driven decision, I look at it kind of in two ways. One, it was they went broke and they could afford the UPSL, and like geographically it made sense, and for travel and whatnot, and financially, but also could they perhaps be setting up a footprint for a second team, like a reserve team that plays in the UPSL, or is this a straight what the fuck situation going on there?
Yeah, so here's the statement from Boca Raton. We are thrilled to join the UPSL, which I don't think anyone has ever said. I bet you FC Minneapolis did. They're like, we're so thrilled. so thrilled. You're right. But I mean, if you're already in the NPSL and then it's time to drop down, you're not going to say we're thrilled to join the UPSL. But then they went on to say, we have players that are ready to play, and the UPSL will give us the right platform for our players because the main goal of our club is to develop and move players on to real professional clubs and for colleges. The UPSL is the right competition for our players to showcase themselves. We will not be putting out our academy team. These are going to be our best players because we're going out there to win this competition, and our ultimate goal is to compete and return to the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup in 2020, to which I say, you fools.
This is you could do the exact same thing in the NPSL, which you're already going on your third season in.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. It seems fishy, John, and it feels like a way to like game the system. It seems like they're saving money because the league fees are cheaper, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're still able to, by winning that league, compete in the Open Cup. And for what? Like, for what? So that you can get beat down the line by Miami FC, who, by the way, was already in their NPSL conference. So their conference was already the likes of Jacksonville Armada's U23 team, Miami United, who's decent, and of course the NASL's own Miami FC. So really, my thought is, can you blame them for bailing out and trying to be like a little fish, or a big fish in a little pond versus a normal fish in a huge pond full of semi-pro players? Especially, oh my God, John, especially when you consider Miami FC's newest powerhouse signing.
You can go ahead and break this news.
No, you told me. Tell me.
It's Harrison Heath.
Oh, God, how can you compete? How can you compete against Harrison Heath?
So, former full-time professional soccer player at Minnesota United and son of Adrian Heath, who, I mean, that move makes sense for him.
You can't do it, John. Fan favorite Harrison Heath.
Yeah.
Is heading to Miami. We got to go.
So basically, I think it's a good move for him, considering he featured more times against our NPSL team than he did against MLS caliber players.
It's a level the guy could compete against.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't look bad against us. So yeah, they could have been playing against Harrison Heath.
He'll be one of the few NPSL players that will be driving a Porsche.
No, that was definitely a lease out of the Porsche Minneapolis. That thing did not make the trip for sure.
Well, and now that he's not living with Dad anymore, do you think that he's signing the lease or not?
Probably not. But I mean, all joking aside, like he's a good soccer player. Not MLS caliber maybe, but like now that they have the Founders Cup, you could see him. It makes sense if there's nothing else out there. Also, you're living in Miami versus some other places, so who knows? Who knows,
so
man?
I don't know. So Boca Raton maybe saw the writing on the wall. They know that their division is, if they stayed in the NPSL, it would be super competitive and probably out of their grasp. Like a title would be out of their grasp for quite some time. So why not make the jump down to something that they can compete in? That's fine. And I think their statement said as much, right? Like the main goal of the club is to develop and make sure that players move on to real professional clubs. And if you're just kind of a mediocre club, you're not going to get the press coverage. You're not going to get the resume building titles. You're not going to get the U.S. Open Cup automatic entries, stuff like that. So it makes sense for their players. Maybe it makes sense for their organization, and hopefully it's something beyond a financial decision.
Did they announce who's in their UPSL conference yet?
Not yet. And the UPSL conference is like ever shifting because I think the UPSL is like year to year closing and opening conferences based on what teams are viable. I think I know like the Bug Eaters were just in a conference down there in Nebraska or around Nebraska, and that conference is done. So I'm not sure really how the UPSL. I should Google it right now. UPSL to see like what their conference situation is.
Because the reason why I mentioned is because Boca was in like a regional Florida Alabama league before they joined the NPSL that they were very successful in. So I'm wondering if their aspirations are the Lamar Hunt Open Cup, that maybe they look at like we can get a berth into the playoffs and have a better shot at that, because historically against teams that might be in the UPSL, they were maybe part of that regional league they were in. So that's just why I asked.
Yeah, they do have a Florida conference, like specifically. There used to be, God, it's all broken down into some really weird shit. Colorado, it's all state-based. It's very gross. Oh my God, how do you even do this? Southeast Conference.
Well, maybe we'll just reserve that for our
that's got to be for a later show. We're moving on.
Yeah, for our full UPSL breakdown.
Which we'll never. So we'll see you never.
Yeah. Just Google it, folks. It is very rare that we get to record a show with a player that was just announced to come back to us for the 2019 season. But this week we have that luxury. Joining us tonight is Stegman's Academy product and 3-year Crow defender Nick Hinds. Nick, you've been on the show before. It was more of a roundtable discussion on the way down to Des Moines. But welcome officially. How'd you make out during Snowmageddon 4 today?
Snowmageddon 4 was pretty good. Got to work early. Left a little late to avoid some of the travel, but happy to be enjoying some Minnesota's own Tattersall and talking with you fine gentlemen.
Nice.
Dude, you're classy as hell. You're just sipping on some Tattersall?
There's a Coors Light right next to it.
I was going to say, what's your Tattersall product of choice?
Rye whiskey. My big brother, also a Stegman's product, got me pretty hooked on it.
Yes. I mean, let me hip you to the secret of Old Overholt.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
I'm not.
Old Overholt Rye is a $13 to $14 bottle of rye whiskey that you can get at any local liquor store, any liquor store really, and it is the rye that most bartenders will use as like a base product, like a base Manhattan or a base rye cocktail. Like it's super good. It's got the great flavors. It's not janky. It's and it's only when they want to like plus up the price point that they start going up and up and up to stuff like Tattersall. Right. So if you're ever on a budget, which I know you're not because you're a professional man, if you're on a budget, Old Overholt is the bottom shelf rye of choice. Please sponsor us, Old Overholt.
So apparently we've shifted into
we went right to drinking. It's because we're all drinking right now, John, because it's cold out and I'm in Arkansas. Yep. All right. So Nick, not a ton of Crow fans know a lot about your background. I think you know, you did have that one appearance when you're in the van with the three other guys. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you were doing before you went to college, and then we'll jump into your college career.
Yeah. Before college, living the good old life in Lincoln, Nebraska, going to high school there, enjoying life. Just playing club soccer with a local team, Capital Soccer Association. Still hanging on for dear life against the foes of OFC there, but as far as I know, still a club. So I appreciate seeing that happen.
OFC, you're talking Omaha?
Omaha, yep. So a big rival of ours growing up, being from Lincoln, especially their roots in Gladiator actually. Before they kind of conglomerated together, so that was our big foe growing up. Yeah.
And then you, as you grew up, you decided, now that I'm done with high school, now I'm going to college. You went to Hastings in Nebraska.
Hastings College out in the beautiful, bustling metropolis of Hastings, Nebraska. So went out there. Initially was a physics major. Got kind of drawn out there. cough, more for soccer than education potentially. Ended up finding the best of both worlds actually, though. You know, felt like I had a fantastic liberal arts education out there, as well as being able to combine that passion with the love for the game, right?
That's for sure.
I'm surprised that by now you haven't mentioned that you were a national champion there, because it seems like that's how you organically lead all conversations.
But believe it or not, John, I don't go in every conversation. Nick Hinds, national champion. Just stick your hand out.
Why wouldn't you?
Why would you not? So 2 pro tips: old Overholt and lead with champion, national
There we
champion.
go.
So,
Listeners,
but
take note.
But like you mentioned, you attended perennial NAIA Power Hastings College. What was the selection process like when you were looking for a school, and why Hastings?
Yeah, it actually checked the box on kind of a number of lists. There's also an inside joke that I'll get to. So, went to a number of different kind of showcases, right? And kind of got to that point where I was making that decision: do I want to more walk on at a D1 program, or do I want scholarships? What's it going to be for me? And when I kind of made that decision, that getting an education paid for and taking that route was something that was going to be where I was headed. There's really no better program in my mind that I was aware of at the time outside of Hastings College, outside of the D1 kind of sphere, right? They get high profile players that kind of end up in the NAI for one reason or another, and they're very successful, right? I think after this last season, proud they still continue this legacy. I think we've won our conference 18 or 19 years running now. So it was a really simple decision for me where I could play soccer at what I saw as my highest level possible at the time, as well as giving myself enough distance from Lincoln to kind of grow and mature as my own person, but still stay close enough to kind of my roots in Nebraska that I could get home when I needed to, right? Family occasions, different things happen. It was a good balance for me.
That's important. So talk to us a little bit about the NAIA, because I think, obviously the NCAA, like D1 gets all the hype. Locally, we're really pumped about this MIAC situation we got going on around here, right? But then you've got this NAIA. What does that stand for?
NAIA. I've got to dig into the brain here. Whatever. National Intercollegiate Athletic, National Athletic Intercollegiate Association. I don't even know if I actually know that.
That's fine.
I never really looked into it. I don't know. It was just,
Sounds like you nailed it.
But it sounds
I
like
did. I crushed it.
It's not regional, right? It's a national.
It's not
conference.
regional. It's a national conference conglomerate of at the time 196 or 206 schools. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my mind.
So still competitive, just a little lesser known.
Sure, lesser known. I think we competed. It was pretty synonymous to about the Division II level.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough to have opportunities to play exhibition games against a number of Division I programs in my time there. We always fared incredibly well. Playing the likes of Creighton, University of Nebraska, Omaha, schools like that. Never blown out of the water. I think we could have competed against almost any team around the country on a good day.
So what other schools would I find in the NAIA? And are there any local athletes or anyone else that we would know by name in the maybe in the NPSL?
In the NPSL, I know I believe there are a number of individuals that played at Grandview, one of which played for Med City, I believe, off the top of my head. I don't recall his specific name. I think he was a winger. He was pretty decent guy. But there are a number of kind of powerhouse schools. Oklahoma Wesleyan down there in, I can't remember which city in Oklahoma. They always bring out a very, very strong side. For a while, the whole thought process of the NAI is where they attracted some decently high profile international players. Is that the big difference is they don't really follow through on the investigation side of eligibility. For better or for worse, right? Maybe I'm going to blow some people out of the water here. I'm not naming any names, but there are definitely some individuals that end up playing in the NAI, right? Maybe end up at a D1 school and find out they can't get eligibility. And then they end up in the NAI, and the NAI just didn't have the budget, didn't have the people, the resources to kind of vet out that potentially there's some people there that
so they kind of skirt on by.
Agents might have had some different stuff, so we ended up with, and I couldn't say this for sure, right? We played Rio Grande in the national championship. I believe, if I recall the story right, their goalie was playing for Marseille in the French. I can't remember which team he was on, second or third team, but I mean, there's some fairly high-profile individuals.
Like, what was he, like, on loan? Like,
the
Marseille thirds, like, U23s, just decided to send him to Rio Grande?
Right.
They're a fantastic program. I think they have 11 full tuition scholarships for soccer. They get some pretty cool players to end up out there. But I think it was more I want to get an education. I want to see what's going on in the United States, and of course they're going to keep playing soccer, right? What a great path to pay for that schooling if you so choose. And you end up looking at some of these bigger schools, high profile, and you realize I played professional soccer. I can't get eligibility here.
Yeah.
So you find another way, and there's coaches, there's recruiting agencies out there that kind of help put the pieces together and find you a school that makes sense, and you can still play at a very high level. And Hastings, and I wouldn't say that we had players who shouldn't have had eligibility. I don't think that was an issue by any means. I think what was really unique to me is the fact that, right, as a small town, 24,000 people in the town, very small school, I think just under 1,000 students, just over 1,000 students, depending on the year. But over a 4-year span, I think I played soccer with guys from, I counted at some point, 12 or 13 different countries, So it was a really unique experience to find out and blend different mindsets, different mentalities, different styles of the game together, and to kind of form this cohesive group, even though everyone brings their own kind of style and twist to things. To bring that all together was a really unique experience.
So you fall into a category that few Crows do, being that you're a non-native Minnesotan. You migrated east from Nebraska. As we know, what brought you here, and what made you stay?
It's funny. It's Minneapolis City is what initially piqued my interest about it, right? So playing college soccer, we're playing at a very high level, as I said. Actually, it was sophomore year where they started kind of pushing our players, hey, you need to go find some place to be playing in the summer. And my big brother Charlie was already up here, right? He's a water resource engineer up here, and he said, hey, there's a team that's getting formed up here out of kind of the owners of, or I wouldn't say the owners, I'd say the founders of Stegman's are trying to assemble this team and put it together. You should come try out. And so I did, and I didn't make it, right? I think Keith was a coach at the time, right? I still had a lot of maturing to do. I wasn't getting a ton of regular minutes in Hastings. I wasn't very confident in myself as a player, and I didn't make the cut in an open tryout, right? But so what I ended up doing is saying, man, this is still something I want to be committed to, and I want to see as a long-term approach. Having conversations with people like you, John, about, hey, is this the right thing to do? So what I ended up doing was taking a door-to-door sales job up here and moving up here for the summer, living with my big brother and playing for 3 different Stegman's teams, and getting myself out there a little bit, right? And then go back, have an incredibly successful junior year, go undefeated, win a national championship, start every match, bring a lot more confidence to my game. Send a video that I put together this season back to John. John shares it with Adam, and he says, hey, yeah, we're impressed. Come on up, right? So then that's kind of when that more fluid transition to, wow, this might be where I want to set some roots down in a city kind of came from.
So there's 2 things I want to bring up from what you just talked about. The first is how important, I mean, obviously in your anecdote and your story, obviously super important that you pointed out you're playing on 3 different Stegman's teams that summer.
Right.
It really catapulted you into all of a sudden now you're the starter. Now you're playing every minute. Now you're winning the national championship, that sort of thing. How important, or what does that Stegman's experience really mean to you in the grand scheme of things? Because Stegman's for a lot of Minneapolis City players is like, what's the point? Why should we talk about it? And I think there's a real value to it.
Oh, there's so much value to it. First of all, I treat it as a brotherhood. It really is. It's a community of people that care about you outside of just whether you're contributing on the field, right? It's a much more of a place where everyone kind of has this common bond, right? Everyone, for the most part in the Stegman's type structure, it's a release. Everyone's coming home from a 9 to 5 potentially. We're all meeting up at the field. You got guys coming in suits and changing at the field, right? It's a blending of people at different experiences, right? Where we all kind of come together about and share this common bond of, it didn't matter where you just were. It's about being here and being present in that moment and playing soccer. I think it adds a lot of value, kind of first and foremost, just as a person, is that it helps you find a community of people who care about the same things that you care about, right? And it's a really committed culture where kind of a strong turnout is a keynote of Stegman's, right? There's a lot of organization within the structure. It's not just a group of guys that it's the last second trying to pull teams together, right? There's a lot of structure, whether that's Nick Sent and John and Dan Hodeman and now Dan Warner kind of taking over the reins. There's a lot of thought put into this in terms of how are we going to make this work, right? And I really appreciate the work that they do behind the scenes that might not get as much recognition. So cheers to them first and foremost. But also from a soccer perspective, there's just nothing like the confidence of knowing you're going out with people who have your back and just being able to have fun. And it's a very low stress environment where you get to test your skills against the best other amateur players in the city and in the state.
So another thing that I want to point out that you brought up is that you were a junior, but then you sent tape back to John and to Adam, and it's like, talked a little bit about like the dedication to get better and like the little things that you have to do to really go after the opportunity, because a lot of kids think that like I can just show up and play great and I'm going to be the best guy on my team and everyone's going to want me. That like what is it about your approach that you think even just to play on an NPSL team is important for kids to remember?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot that kind of went into it. So I actually played like the last 6 games of the Hastings National Championship season with a bit of a stress fracture in my foot, and so I ended up having to take some time off immediately after that. And kind of the first step back to that was that I went back up for kind of a invitational only tryout with Minneapolis City. And what came out of that is, hey man, you're out of shape, we're still not sure. And so that's when I realized, man, if this is what I want to do, I got to commit to it, right? I sat down for, it must have been 6 hours, right? I said, all right, screw schoolwork for the next day. I want to put this tape together, right? Come on, what really matters here, right?
Yeah.
Stay in school, kids. But so I really invested a lot of time in thinking about what are my strengths, how can I add value, and one of the things that I did have a good resource in John who kind of had my back and saying, this is what we're looking for, this is where we see you, but we want to see that is that we need an outside back who's gonna be fearless on the attack, but also has the fitness levels to get back and defend, because any outside back, your primary responsibility is defending, but also a huge thing fundamentally for me is I love to attack. Growing up in grade school and high school, I was always a forward and midfielder. I still have that kind of thirst to get to goal, right? And I never wanted to lose that, even though at the college level I ended up playing outside back, right? And so I thought I had that to bring to the table. So I really focused my tape around how do I show that strength and that I'm absolutely fearless going forward, but also I have that fitness, I have that endurance, that ability to go 90 minutes. And in the 78th minute, in the 88th minute, if I get caught out of position, I'm going to be the person that's busting my butt to get back every single time. And so I think there's a lot of value. Yeah, go ahead, John.
I think a great example of that is when, not this past season, but 2 years ago in your first season with us, our away loss to Duluth, it was our 2-1 loss to Duluth, where you came on, I believe in the second half, and that's what we needed. We needed another attacker, and if it weren't for a few whiskers on the wrong side of the
You
post,
almost had it, man.
Still haunts me to this day. I can picture it. Bath fed me that, and it took just like a 30-yard whack at that thing and missed the post by a centimeter.
But that was exactly what you were talking about.
You can't be blamed.
You can't be blamed for that one. But you had to defend and then make like a 60-yard run to get up the field into the attack, which is what your primary job was in that given day, and it almost worked. But if we weren't talking about the types of strengths that you have that we want to align with our needs, we wouldn't have been in that position to even have that opportunity in that game. So I think it's important to kind of connect a real use case to what you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it speaks to the level of dedication that you guys have as a coaching staff to say, hey, here's what your function is going to be. You're a very open and very open communication organization, where as a player you can have those conversations about what is my role going to be, right? I never had any question in my mind as to where I stood and what my function was going to be and what value I was going to bring to Minneapolis City, right? When you have a coaching staff that kind of lays that on the line as, hey, here's where you stand at every step of the process. I really appreciated that, and I know some of the other gents on the team do too.
Yeah, super. It's the open communication between the coaches and the players has been something that all the players that we've talked about have said is super valuable because, like you said, it's important to know where you stand. It's important to know that, like, when you can compete for minutes, where your role is in the club, and be comfortable and be happy with that role. And if you're not happy, then then they'll tell you how to compete for that and how to improve your status.
Setting expectations is very
Yeah.
important.
So now that you're here, now that you've graduated, and you've got a full-time job, hopefully no longer going door to door selling things.
No longer door to door. I promise.
Vacuum cleaners.
Need a shark? I got you.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about how your transition has been going, where soccer from a place where soccer was basically your full-time job after you just studied a little bit to now soccer being your second job or outside of work.
Man, I'll tell you what, guys, it sucks.
Yeah, well,
it's
work.
rough.
First of all, full-time jobs are no fucking fun because you end up in Arkansas.
And you end up drinking. No, so I'm actually really fortunate where I have the CEO of my organization, OG, out in Minnetonka. He coached in the Italian NFL for a couple years before he kind of settled into where he's at now, right? So he's a very firm proponent of explore your passions, and he's a person who understands there are people who work is their passion, and there are people who work so that they can explore their passions, right? So soccer is still a priority to me, and I'm thankful to have kind of a support structure in the management of my organization that allows me to still pursue that to the extent to where, right, I had started working towards the middle of the NPSL season last year, and it was kind of understood as long as I didn't have a set meeting or something very set in stone that I couldn't change. If I need to go for soccer, you go, right? And having that support has made the transition exponentially easier, but it's still rough going from 6 to 7 days a week playing soccer to sitting here, the past couple months, I feel my legs, shaking a little extra while I'm at my desk, just craving to be back diving into the game now where, we're 1 day a week right now at the current time doing through that preseason, but it's the best night. It doesn't even matter that it's a long Friday because you're up a little later. It's the most stress relieving portion of my whole week. So it's been a rough transition, I'm not gonna lie, kind of making that hard cutoff from you live and breathe soccer, and there's some studies on the side, and I was still cared about getting good grades and finding a good career, but also it's rough because I'm just an active person, and so now kind of feeling like I got that weight around my ankles at the desk is been a big transition in my life.
Yeah, for real. Do you think that there's when you're talking about like you're itching at your desk just to play some soccer, you're looking for opportunities, looking for outlets. I mean, obviously the off season is a huge barrier there, right?
Right.
Like over the summer, you could be playing 5-6 nights a week between city and
Oh,
Stegman's and practice and training and all that stuff. Like, is City giving it now that you're like involved? Like, is City giving you those opportunities to find or looking for opportunities to find more times for dudes to play and to get out there?
Absolutely. There are constantly going to be opportunities, especially, right now it's a little different, right? The winter in Minnesota is pretty brutal. There's not a ton of opportunities, right? I played in a Stegman's league and also playing with Minneapolis City in the winter, but especially in the summer, kind of the sky's the limit. If you have the flexibility to get places and you want to be that person, right? Like that first summer, when I actually didn't make Minneapolis City and I was living up here, there were days I'd play 5 or 6 games in a weekend. I'd be playing with 77s, but also Old Boys and United and pitching in an Athletic when they needed somebody. So there are times I was playing with 3, if not 4, in a calendar week, 4 Stegman's teams, right? I don't know many clubs that can offer that, where it's like, hey man, if you can be around, once you kind of establish yourself as someone that's going to be reliable and is going to work hard, people respect you, right? And they say, hey, you kind of get those opportunities once you say, hey, I'm going to work hard for you guys and be able to have fun, and let's never forget the kind of unspoken segments rule where it's also, don't be a jerk. Don't be a D-bag, right? If you set yourself apart as someone who's going to be nice, who's going to work hard, who's going to be respectful, other teams within the organization will kind of come to you and say, hey, can you play? Or whether that's, Dan Warner saying, hey, 77s need somebody, or Aaron Olson saying, hey, man, can you swing by tonight after your game and play the second half, right? Those opportunities, it really is, the sky is the limit, at least from my perspective.
I think on the flip side too, as Nate's questioning kind of came from a soccer perspective, but from an organizational perspective, I think the one thing that Minneapolis City and Segments also affords you is the opportunity to have a day job and to, like you were saying, if I have an important meeting the next day, I let everybody know, and I'm upfront about that so that I can not mess up my real life because of a soccer practice or like a men's league game, but still not lose your place.
Absolutely, and that can't be stated enough, especially coming from an organization where they're so invested in kind of the local community, to where they say, hey, if you're not going to be based in Minnesota, we don't really, we want to make this a local experience. We want to have that community engagement. We want you to be here to do community service and reach out to those and help make soccer, fun and more affordable for anyone that it can be. To have an organization that then has to say, all right, we can't just have 26 to 50, depending on the structure, college players, right?
Yeah.
People based here, so that means we got to be flexible to understand, hey, we got some guys into their mid-20s and 30s that have a lot of responsibilities on that 9-to-5 grind. So how do we make this work as an organizational structure outside of that 9-to-5, right? In college, I had a couple of the gents of mine that went and played for Chattanooga, and the life cycle is totally different, right? The people in Memphis that were, we were lifting at 9 a.m. and then we had practice at 3 p.m. That just can't fly for people that have a job. You can't be doing that 3 to 5 times a week, where it's like, holy cow, it's just unattainable for someone that's, a salaried professional in the real world. You would never be able to make that commitment, and if you are, it's because you're giving up a lot at work, right? So to have an organizational structure where they say, hey, we understand where you're coming from and we still want you to be a part of this, I can't speak to how grateful I am to that enough.
So in your 2 seasons with us so far, a lot has happened. But last year was memorable.
Yes, it was.
Going undefeated and winning the North Conference for the first time as an organization. What has been your favorite moment thus far? It could be going undefeated, but is there anything else that might sneak in there?
Oh man, there's so many moments, right? Going undefeated is obviously as a big highlight reel for me, but it's for me it's I'm a pretty sentimental person potentially. You could laugh at me for this, but I appreciate the smaller moments where it's more about the bonding as a brotherhood, right? It really is about getting to know people. So I really appreciated actually the trip we took up to Duluth this year. Was the same day. Yeah, you remember.
Yeah, man.
Didn't get the result we wanted. I think we ended up tying, if I recall correctly. I'm not crazy, am I?
Yeah, it was a brutal draw, but it was a draw.
It was a tough one for sure. But the kind of bonding and the kind of framework that came out of that encounter, where we went to a pub in downtown Duluth and watched the Champions League final before the game.
Yes.
And kind of just that bonding moment to have, where we're all just sitting there. Really, you kind of see the multifaceted approach of, God, everyone there just cares about soccer, right? We're, adjusting schedules to make sure that we can get there in time to watch the Champions League final. And that meant, we spent like 2 hours sitting in a park on Lake Superior before the game, just kind of hanging out, just to make sure all the timing worked out.
Yeah.
And oh man, I just thought that was a really great experience, and I appreciated kind of the bonding that happened there. That was a big highlight for me.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, that is, if you didn't bring that up, that's exactly what I would have said that should be your number 2. Because like when you think about that experience, even at the pub, like we're watching the Champions League game, which was amazing. That was Liverpool Real, right? So like, that was such a good game. And then you had not only were the players there, the staff, there were fans that showed up to hang out.
Some rando Duluth people.
The
Rando
random people
Duluth.
that were just sitting in our room.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
You
but
guys like soccer? Yeah, we
oh,
kind of
okay,
enjoy
cool.
it a little
But but like you're right. Like that's kind of what encompasses what's cool about Minneapolis City is that like there is that constant connection with everything that's great about the club, from the fans to the organization.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about like time management to all that stuff that like it all came together that weekend, and we didn't get the result we wanted, and Samuel left with a ruptured appendix, but whatever. Oh no, that was 2 years ago. Never
That
mind.
was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was saying, that was
all the shitty
slurring my
Duluth trips.
memories, man.
Yeah.
Bringing
Yeah.
up
They
some
were all together.
nightmares here.
But that
So
was,
you-
no, Ben left with a broken leg or whatever happened to him.
Yeah. Wexler got hurt. Yeah.
His hamstring
Yep,
stuff.
hamstring.
Yeah.
So we've touched on a couple of these topics here, but so you're obviously used to winning. Seeing that, if my math is correct,
Oh.
you had around 70 plus wins and only 11 losses in college,
Not
and then
bad.
obviously we went undefeated last year. What do you think from a team perspective with Minneapolis City last season contributed to us going undefeated and the success factors that went into that?
Yeah. For me, it's a huge portion of people buying into the system, right? Is people having that kind of that trust and the understanding of that, hey, we're all in this together. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, respectively. But it's just about understanding that when you look at someone next to you, is that they have my back, I have their back. If I mess up, it's not like they're going to immediately get down on me. It's, hey, we know what you're capable of. We know the next step is going to be positive. And that kind of mental framework to me is incredibly important, right? We saw it at Hastings. There wasn't a huge amount of difference in the talent that we had sophomore year as opposed to junior year, right? We brought in a new coach. We had a coach who'd been there about 17 years that left the program. Brought in a first-year coach with a fresh viewpoint, a fresh perspective. Aaron Champenoy, fantastic guy, fantastic coach. And the mindset that he brought, he was just able to relate to us on a level to where people bought into his structure. And I feel that same type of connection to all the coaching staff kind of, in Minneapolis City, whether that's coming from you, John, or whether that's coming from Adam or Matt, whoever it might be, whether it's the assistant coaches, Derek. I just think that they do such a good job relating to who we are as players because they've been there. And they make things really simple and are very clear and set those expectations of here's what the goal is, right? And I think from day one, even before I was a part of Minneapolis City, the expectation was that we're going to be the best, right? We aren't afraid to self-promote and set ourselves at lofty goals. And I don't think that ever came as pressure to us as an organization. I think it was almost like, there's the expectation, let's go make it a reality. And when you look at the people next to you, whether that's Trey or Steve or Matt or any of these individuals who've been a part of the organization for quite a while, and you just feel that confidence that they have that, hey, here's what we're going to go do. And there's never hesitation in their mind about it. That breeds a certain level of confidence in the organization. And then also, once you get on a roll, it's just great to keep that going. Once you win a couple games, right? Things start off a little rocky, right? I recall the first game last season. I met you guys up in South Dakota, right?
Yeah, you drove from Nebraska.
I
didn't you
drove
have
from college.
Yeah, didn't you have graduation?
Yeah, I couldn't get up to Minneapolis yet, so I had to get back for graduation still. So I had like 2 more weeks of college, and I said, all right. I'm not worried about failing any classes. Let's go drive up there and meet them, right? It's just those type of experiences that I love, where it's like, hey, we don't have a ton of numbers. Do you want to come do this? And I'm always going to be the person that's like, yeah, why not, right? But, you start off things at that kind of where it's like, wow, we have not even come close to hitting our peak. To accomplishing so much as an organization was really cool, unique experience to just see. Again, kind of connecting it back, everyone being bought into that mindset and that program is super important.
The key to what you said, I think, is this mentality amongst the players that, like, I know what you're capable of. I know you can do better. It's always very supportive, and it's not, it's never, you're not cutting anyone down. You're not telling them what they did wrong. It's like, you are better than this. Come on. And that's super motivating, I'm sure. It reminds me of, it's very, someone's going to disagree with me. A million people will disagree with me about this.
Anyone can disagree.
It feels very like Pep. You know what I mean? Where like I remember like Man City crushed Southampton in a game, and Pep ran up to Nathan Redmond and started screaming in his face. And after the game, they were like, "Nathan, what did he say?" And Redmond was like, "Well, he was just telling me that he knew the kind of player I was and that I should probably be better than this."
Right.
And like
right.
that's fucking hard to hear from another coach, but like that's what you need to be hearing from your teammates, right? That's
Absolutely.
what like builds you up, and that's like what makes you want to be better. That's the kind of thing that's motivating, not like telling you what you're doing wrong, and you need it and like telling you that next time figure it the fuck out, right?
Yeah, it's accountability, right? And you know, in the heat of the moment on the field, right, you have to be able to be a person who can take criticism, right? That's always going to be an element of the game. Is when you mess up, first and foremost, if you're accountable to yourself, it's always going to piss you off more than it pisses anyone else off the team, right? But it's that level of there's accountability, but from a positive framework. It is that it's hey, come on, I know who you are, you can do better. It's not how could you do this to us? You let everyone down and build this immense pressure up on you where when that bubble pops, you just collapse as a player. It's just so much more positive framework. But you know, there's always going to be that accountability level to where when you let your teammates down, you should always feel more embarrassed in yourself because you know who you are as a player.
Yeah.
But to have that support where, you know, hey, we understand where you can be and we know you're going to get there, that's super important to, I think, develop confidence as a player. And that's something Minneapolis City's really good at.
All right, man. One last thing. Give me one big prediction for the 2019 season.
Oh man, we're one practice in, right? We got our
one
first
practice in.
practice.
Only like 5 players announced on the roster.
Right, I know. That's why it's like they're
you got to keep the secrets.
Yeah, got to keep the secrets. One big prediction for 2019. I feel a repeat.
You feel the repeat.
I want to see it, right? We've set that level. We've set that tone. I want to see us continue to have that level of excellence. So to me, a big prediction is you're going to see us back on a regional and national level next year in the playoffs.
See, usually when Nate asks me that question, I say something like, I guarantee you're going to be wearing pink or on the road next year.
Yeah.
You know?
You're such a bitch, John.
Go big or go home, John.
Right, exactly. So we used to put our guests through the world-famous Lupien Automotive Speed Round, but they're no longer with us. So it's time for something new. So we're gonna play a little game of word association. Are you familiar with what that is?
Hey, whatever comes into my mind, first thing I say. Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna rip off 15 words. You're just gonna tell me the first thing you say. It comes to your mind, just say it. Or a couple words. You know, maybe a sentence.
All right.
But,
could be a phrase. I got you.
It could be a phrase.
Don't put too fine a point on it.
Right, and if you're listening out there and you want to be our official sponsor of this new segment, you can hit the show up. But okay, so we ask all of our guests, like, do you need to take a quick break? You need to fill up a drink? You need to stretch or anything? Or are you ready to dive in?
I'm pretty good. I got the bottle next to me. I think we're gonna be okay.
Okay, all right. So number 1, bird,
Crow,
defender,
tenacity,
citizens,
the best,
summit,
freaking awesome.
Gary,
Des Moines,
Minnesota,
home,
Nebraska,
roots,
leader,
accountability,
winning,
the Crows,
formation,
changing,
Stegman's,
mustache,
junk food,
my soulmate.
Got
a problem, guys.
Celebration,
Summit, beer.
Duluth,
No comment.
Okay, and then the last one, the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood. I think of my twin, Kevin. I'm happy to have that man back. That is the peak of Brotherhood.
All right, so you made
that was good.
You made it through the first ever game
Sweating here.
of
Sweat.
word association, and I'll give you a solid C+.
All
All right, that's pretty rough. That's not my accountability goal.
Yeah.
I thought that was better than C+.
I would have leveled you up, but you mentioned Summit twice and changing for formation. I don't know.
fair.
It's just not where I would have gone.
A little pandering to the sponsors and maybe
Changing's probably the wrong word. It's more fluid, right? Fluid's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
better.
See, now you get my C+ rating.
Oh yeah, I could have done better. I apologize for letting you down, John.
That's all right.
Well, thank you so much to the Ryan Gosling sound-alike Nick Hinds for joining us on the show this week.
Thanks for having me, gents.
Really appreciate it. Really enjoy it. We're looking forward to you locking fools down and just bombing up and down that wing for another year. This has been very, very cool.
Can't wait.
Really good
appreciate
interview.
You guys. Appreciate you guys having me on. I appreciate everything that you guys do for the club. It's not gone unnoticed.
Wow.
Well, thank you so
Wow,
much.
wow,
It's always nice to get a compliment back, Nate, isn't it?
It's so rare.
Dang, guys. We gotta talk to the gents about that.
Yeah.
I know. Jeez.
All right. Well, so thank you so much for showing up, Nick. And thus ends tonight's show. Thanks, as always, to the sponsor, Nick's favorite, Summit Brewing. The Rathskeller Reserve Box is in stores now. It's featuring revived beers that were initially only limited editions available in the tap room, and now they're available for everybody. So pick up a box today. Summit, a more meaningful brew since 1986. If giving back to the community means a lot to you, maybe it is time to give to the club that gives back. We say this every week. Minneapolis City is a 501c3 that provides a safe, reliable, and fun environment for young people to play the beautiful game. Maybe you're doing your taxes right now and you're like, God, I should have donated more to charity, give my deduction up, whatever that means. I'm not an accountant. Well, you got to do it. Look for us this summer playing with kids in parks and community centers around the city, and consider a tax-deductible donation to a true city-focused organization. Minneapolis City, you know that schedule is out, and you know it's long as hell. Now is the right time to grab that membership. It is the best deal in soccer. That is $80 for at least 10 home games, not to mention the U23 games. You get your membership scarf, you get the membership card that's going to get you deals on Summit at our official game day bar, Palmer's in the West Bank. Visit mplscitysc.com and make that happen for yourself. Send us mail. You know it's easy. You know we answer those questions on the show. Just hit us up on Twitter if you want, at The People's Pitch. DMs be open. Or you can always email us at mcscpodcast@gmail.com. All questions, comments, and concerns be welcome. And finally, you can always complain to the club at MPLS City SC on Twitter. They love it. That is all for this week. Once again, thank you so much to Minneapolis City defender Nick Hinds, and we will leave you with our house MC, Miles Stockton Willis, a.k.a. Malaise. I almost made it! God damn it!
Almost made it.
I am Nate. That is John. That was Nick. Get out to some city games this year. God damn it. You got hooked.
Dang right.
All right.
I see the real you, yeah, boo, I found you. So don't ever frown when loneliness is around you. I'ma show you that someone should crown you, not clown you, but pursue virtue would never hurt you. Critical in distance, touch is digital, biblical. Till death, love is unconditional. Telling us we're a team and not two individuals. For you, I give my spleen, the spiritual and the physical. Loving what is fragile isn't always fixable, but I see what's invisible. See it with vex visuals. Grab my hand, hold it. We gon' think the unthinkable. I promise we will float, that our boat's unsinkable. I promise I'ma drown in you, let you drown in me. Reveal the recipe, you I love to overfeed. I love it. Let's proceed slowly, not go bad like moldy. Ravioli, rigatoni. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall free. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just
Temptation's about to give in, but I'm staying true. If I sin, may I be forgiven for a few. What we got to lose? Nothing. You just gotta listen. Such a good girl. Great. Just made a bad decision. One and done. She looking fine. Nothing missing. But got my hands tied like I'm the villain. Evil only swallows pride, but I'm sometimes kidding. Finger licker kitty after feed the kittens. Cute shit. Kiss me softer than a baby's grip. New sense of high when she bites her lower lip. If she quit, make my heart skip, then snip. When we're together like ice cream mixed with some mint pepper. Shawty had to rescue my respiratory. Wants a man who's a man, that is mandatory. Only without her off the pad, like I never met with Dory. Help her write her story, take the qualms out her quarry. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Selfie Thomas as the rollie. Always be my plus one. Shawty is my bogey. In it for the long haul, not for the trophy. Every day, feeling greater than Tony. Falling for her, and I think she falling for me too. Falling like two V's, make a W. Type of dude to build you up and make the rubble move. Type of dude to have my phone out all in front of you. Only cause you got my back. Presence always sets the mood. Never starts any trouble without any proof. No problems if there was, make the puzzle poof. Laugh it off. Goofballs, you should see the spoof. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Free. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you